Harper Paperbacks and HarperAudio present 97 Orchard, an edible history of 5 immigrant families in one New York tenement, by Jane Ziegelman. Read by Nan Mcnamara. A note before we begin. Don't forget to download the accompanying enhancement PDF from your audiobook provider. It contains recipes and will be referred to throughout as the enhancement. For Andy. Introduction. 97 Orchard tells the story of 5 immigrant families, each of them, as it happens, residents of a single New York tenement in the years between 1863 and 1935. Though separated by time and national background, the Glockners, the Moores, the Gumpertzes, the Rogoshevskys, and the Baldizis were all players in the Age of Migration, a period of sweeping demographic change for both the Old and New Worlds. Starting in Europe in the early 1800s, whole chunks of humanity streamed from the countryside to the cities, the continent's new manufacturing centers, in pursuit of work. Those who could afford to embarked on a transatlantic migration, lured to the United States by the promise of American prosperity and freedom. 97 Orchard chronicles what became of those immigrants, but from a special vantage point. It retells the immigrant story from the elemental perspective of the foods they ate. Within hours of landing, immigrants felt the keen pressures of assimilation. Before they even left Ellis Island, many had already traded in their old world identities for new American names. Once on the mainland, immigrants found it expedient to shed their native clothing and to dress like Americans. Men quickly adopted the ubiquitous derby. Women abandoned their shawls and kerchiefs in favor of American-style coats and bonnets. The immigrants learned to speak like Americans, subjected themselves to the rigors of American sweatshops, and delighted in the popular culture of their adopted home. These same immigrants, however, went to extraordinary lengths to preserve their traditional foods and food customs. Transplanting old-world food traditions, many of them rooted in the countryside, to the heart of urban America, required both imagination and tenacity. To compound the challenge, the immigrants' eating habits oftentimes defied American culinary norms, and as the immigrant population continued to swell, concerned citizens attempted to wean the foreigners from their strange cuisine. The immigrants' food loyalties, however, were fierce. Native foods provided them with the comfort of the familiar in an alien environment, a form of emotional ballast for the uprooted. Within the immigrant community, food cemented relationships, and immigrants turned to food as a source of ethnic or national pride. As immigrant families put down roots, it also became a source of contention between parents and their American-born children for whom old-world foods carried the stigma of foreignness. A large part of this story takes place in the immigrant kitchen. For many immigrants, this was a small, often windowless room in a 5- or 6-story brick tenement. A form of urban housing that began to appear on New York's Lower East Side in the 1840s, tenements were the first American residences built expressly for multiple families, in this case, working people. The typical tenement had an iron front stoop, a central stairwell where children played and neighbors socialized, and 4 apartments on every floor. The tenement kitchen was furnished with a wood or coal-burning stove and little else. Those at 97 Orchard, a well-equipped building for its time, were bereft of indoor plumbing or any means of cold storage aside from the windowsill or fire escape, a makeshift icebox that only functioned in winter. A place to cook and to eat, the kitchen was also used as a family workspace, a sweatshop, a laundry room, a place to wash one's body, a nursery for the babies, and a bedroom for boarders. In this cramped and primitive setting, immigrant cooks brought their formidable ingenuity to the daily challenge of feeding their families. 97 Orchard describes exactly how that challenge was met by 5 major immigrant groups: the Germans, Irish, German Jews, Russian-Lithuanian Jews, and Italians.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?